makes me smile a lot.
It's one place I don't have to worry about fitting in.
I learned how and why to make a difference.
Forum Christian Church, connecting, growing, living.
It's all about commitment, and when it comes to the environment, we're committed to making the world out there just as beautiful as we help you make the world in here. By using green practices and natural materials from renewable resources to operate our Carpet One Floor and Home stores, and offering a growing selection of flooring that meets our Green Select standards. When you purchase a product with a Green Select label, you'll know you've made a choice you can feel good about forever. Visit Carpet One Floor and Home today to learn more about Green Select, the earth-friendly choice.
I'm Cole.
And I'm Jason.
We build houses.
All kinds of houses.
With all kinds of floor plans.
And all kinds of budgets.
Because we believe you shouldn't have to wait
for a house that makes you feel right at home.
You can have better living
right now.
We make dreams come true.
This is Building for Better Living.
When we first sat down and talked with John and Toby, what was most important to them was house size. They wanted a larger home and less of the high-end finishes that come with a custom home, so that way they could get everything they needed now size-wise, and they could always upgrade those things later.
They're gonna have the house that they want right now, the size of it, on a lot in the country within their budget.
This is the first time we built a house, so it's all an unfamiliar game to us, so I'm sure we'll learn a lot during the process.
Hello, Cole and Jason here with John and Toby, homeowners, here on day one of the project site. Here, we're going to be talking today about placement of the home. We want to make sure that this home is placed in the correct, proper position and that the homeowners have chosen. And to do that, we've had surveyors out here. Here soon we're going to be meeting with the concrete guys, which have been delayed because of the torrential downpours here in the morning. So their job has been held up, but they'll be coming out here later to talk more about that. So we're just going over the plans and placement of the house right now and talking with John and Toby and trying to make sure that we get everything ironed out. Placement of the home is probably the most important part of the process. Once you get the placement, you get concrete in the ground, you can't move it from there.
John and Toby are at the bank working on finalizing the loan package, and that should close Monday or Tuesday of the next week.
Well, we really like the lot. We wanted to be out in the country, and this was a great location for us and in a smaller school district for raising our young daughter.
We're here with Dan Brush and Kevin Swiker with Brush & Associates, and we're talking about lot surveys today. And this lot is situated in a floodplain. So as we go through the building process, we want to make sure when we're done building this house, it's located out of the floodplain.
We'll set you a permanent benchmark out here you can use whenever you get ready to start grading.
Okay.
When we get out here today, we'll have one set for you. We'll use like the property iron and give you an elevation off it.
So we're thinking to maybe place the house a little over to the right.
Okay.
So that way they maybe be able to use this draw as part of that walkout on the side.
So you locate the tops and you locate the channel and the toe and probably on out there to get an idea of what this thing looks like. And then we'll go ahead and model the water coming through here. Okay. And that'll tell us, you know, hey, how high is it going to get? Where's it going to spread out to?
So basically it kind of gives a basic outline of the topography here,
yep,
where elevations are at, where the high spots are, low spots, that sort of thing.
I can tell you just by looking at it, when you get up out of this creek bottom, most of the flood water is going to head over on that side because you've got a high bank. This is on a cutting section of the creek. Boone County, you're required to do a floodplain development permit if your lot or tract has any regulated floodplain on it at all. Floodplain development permit basically is a permit from the county planning and building office that goes ahead and says, hey, we recognize that we have a potential for a flooding issue, and therefore we're going to go through the steps to make sure that we build this house out of the floodplain, or if it is in the floodplain, that we have elevated it enough to go ahead and not have a flooding issue. The elevation certificate, which is a part of the floodplain development permit, also gets triggered anytime you get ready to start constructing something and you have to borrow money.
Yeah.
FEMA requires the lenders to go ahead and obtain one just to make sure that they're not lending money on a bad risk that's going to get flooded and so forth.
Yep.
So the elevation certificate's used by the lender for that. It's also used by the insurance company to go ahead and determine how much flood insurance you might have to pay. Now, my house is on top of a ridge. I can still get flood insurance.
Right.
And my elevation certificate would then mean that I pay very, very little amounts as far as money goes.
Sure.
On the other hand, if I lived down in the bottom and had the floor too low and was underneath it, then I would pay a very high amount because I would be a high risk for the flood.
We wanted to go ahead and take these measures to make sure that this property was located outside the floodplain.
Yeah.
I think it's important for them, for one, the longevity of this property. They may be here the rest of their lives, but if they're not, they're going to resell it. That's going to be a nice selling feature, is that they don't have to have flood insurance, and that's what we're trying to accomplish here.
And as the people at the conferences always tell me, you know, just because you're out of the floodplain doesn't mean you don't need flood insurance.
Doesn't mean you don't need flood insurance.
And actually, it may be something you all want to consider. I mean, if you're up high enough and the flood insurance premium is very low, because as I understand the definitions of a flood, it's not necessarily rainwater or stormwater. It's any water that would cross the property line and then come into your house.
I think it's been really smooth going into the building process. We've heard a lot of people who said they've built before, say they'd never do it again. But so far, the process has been really smooth.
All the pre-plan we're doing is paying off because the loan hasn't closed yet. We know it is going to close. We know the people are serious about the project. But now, hopefully, we won't be delaying it any more than it has been. We're just waiting on the loan. Once the loan closes, we'll have the sewer system hopefully completely sorted out. That means both on placement and getting it through the architectural committee. This way the project can start on time and then it'll be finished on time.
Brought to you in part by Carpet One Floor and Home Columbia. Best brands, best service. The one store for your perfect floor. Forum Christian Church, intentionally connecting people to Jesus. And Withrow Electric. No job too small.